back to another video. I am currently sat on the floor in the living room. It's very, very echoey, so I hope you can hear me alright. So the living room transformation is continuing. If anybody walks past this window, I'm going to look a bit weird because you're currently set up on the windowsill and I'm just sat right in front of the window, so people just think I'm talking to myself. But yeah, we're continuing with the living room transformation. Nothing else has happened since I ended the previous video, which was the painting. So when I've had a quick look over, I've only done one coat of paint of this like dark colour. My battery's flashing. 2 minutes. Right, I'm back. Yeah, so I've done one coat of paint in the dark green colour, which has gone on really nicely, to be fair. I'm happy with like the quality of the paint and everything, but there is a few patches that I'm just going to have to go over again. Just a few little bits that do need a second coat. But what I think I'm going to do is sort of wait until the end, wait until we've done the coving, done the skirting board, which I still need to order, and like done the bits on the ceiling and stuff, because we probably will end up with a few like scuffs here and there on the walls. So there's no point in me getting the paint back out and going over bits now and then having to touch other bits up like in a week or so. I might as well just do it all in one go. So I think I'm just going to leave that for now. So yeah, next job is the coving and the bit of wood to go like where the curtain pole is going to be. We've been delayed for like a few days because we've got loads of curtain poles that we brought from our old house, but we obviously haven't put them up in every room of this house while we've been renovating. So we do have curtain poles laying around, but we couldn't find the brackets to actually attach the curtain pole to the wall, which was annoying. So we did also need a little bit of a longer curtain pole for this window because it's a massive window. So basically I ordered a curtain pole from Dunelm a few days ago. That's just been delivered today. It's currently Friday, so hopefully we'll have a few days over the weekend to actually get some stuff done. So yeah, the curtain pole is here. I've also ordered some blinds, so I'll try and sort of show you what the blinds look like. I haven't opened the actual like box yet. But because this window is so big, I wanted like Venetian blinds, the horizontal blinds, rather than vertical ones. But our window is too wide, so you can't just get one blind to cover the whole window, because when you pull the blinds up, they're too heavy to sort of hold at the top, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I couldn't find it. I mean, we might have been able to get some proper bespoke made ones, but I do remember when we got the blinds in our old house, the guy said to us, if the window is over a certain width, you do usually have to split them into 2 or 3 separate blinds because they're just too heavy for that width. So basically what I've done is ordered 2 sets of blinds, same width. So we'll basically just have 2 up in the window, and hopefully we can fit them close enough together so there's no gap in the middle. I'm obviously hoping that when they're up and they're fitted, it's going to look like one full blind, but it's just a bit of like trial and error. I'm just going to have to see how it goes. So yeah, we'll see how they look. I'm hoping that we can sort of hold them up first before we actually like fix them onto the window. So yes, my job for this afternoon is to basically prime all of the bits of wood. So I haven't showed you these yet actually. So these are the bits of mouldings that I've got to basically add to the coving. So it's not going to be very easy for me to show you these. These are the ones that I've already primed. I did these a few nights ago. So I've got this trim here. They're just, I think these are about 2 centimeters wide. So they're quite small, but we didn't want anything too big to add to this because this is already a decent size. I just sort of wanted to add something a little bit more. So it's going to be difficult for me to show you. So the idea basically is that this one will be added to the bottom like this. So obviously this will sit, let me try and show you. This will sit like this if you imagine that that's the ceiling and the wall. So we're basically just going to add a bit to the top here and the bottom down here. So I have got two different types of moulding here. So this one is going to go on the bottom like that, and then obviously I'm hoping that they'll blend quite nicely once it's all painted. And then this one here is gonna go on the top. So obviously this technically will be on the ceiling, because this will be sort of like that. I don't know how much sense this is making, but yeah, basically these are the bits of moulding that we've got. So there's another pile there that still need priming. So I'm going to prime the other ones, and then I think I'm going to paint all of these ones white. I'm just going to use that emulsion and give them a coat of white as well. And I'm now considering painting the coving now as well, even though this is white and it looks fine, but I think at the moment it does just have like a sort of primer coat on it. I think you are supposed to paint it yourself. So I feel like it's going to be a lot easier if I paint it before it goes up, and then just go over and like touch up any bits that need it once it's actually up. I don't really know, but I'm going to do these bits of moulding first, and then I'll decide on the coving later on. So these ones down here are all primed and dry. I did them the other night. They're my rings. And then these ones over here are the ones that I've just done. I've just primed these and I've laid them there to dry. And then this one is one of the dry ones, but I've done a coat of the white emulsion, because obviously the coat that I've done on these is the primer. So then I'm planning on just using this white emulsion to do the rest. So I just sort of wanted to see how this went on. But if I do the emulsion on all of these ones, I'm running out of like space to lay them out to dry them. So I think I'm just going to wait for these ones to dry and then give them all a coat of emulsion and lay them out to dry again. I'm not sure whether to paint the coving. I don't really feel like it needs it, but obviously until it's up I'm not really sure. I've done a little bit of like a tester just on this scrap bit, so I don't know whether you can see there the sort of like shiny bit. This is just matte emulsion, so it will dry matte, but I've just put a little bit on here just to see if it dries. Like this side over here, I don't know if you can see there, like this bit here, I've just left normal and I've just sort of painted one side of it. So I'm going to see how it dries, and if you can see a difference between this bit here and that shiny bit there, then I think I'll just leave all of the coving and just go back over it once it's actually up, and paint over any like marks or any patches that need painting. But if I can avoid painting all of the coving, then I will, because obviously where this like egg and dart pattern is, sorry I don't have enough hands to do this, but where this pattern is at the bottom, it's an absolute nightmare to paint in all of like the little grooves and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that there and sort of see how that dries. And I think I might just do a little bit of like washing and tidying and stuff around the house while I wait for these to dry, and then check back in a little bit later on, and yeah, maybe do a little bit more painting later. These mouldings won't go on the wall until after the coving's been done, so I can't imagine that we'll get this far tomorrow. Louis still sort of trying to figure out exactly how the coving needs cutting, so I think he's figured out. He bought one of these things, I don't have a clue what this is, but like what it's called, but it's basically to cut the angles for the coving, because obviously the coving sits at an angle between like the ceiling and the wall, so then when you cut the corners it has to be cut on a really like specific angle. So I think this was about 5 or 6 quid from Screwfix. I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but this just, oh, it's a mitre guide, Super Cove it says. So yeah, I think that's helped him a lot. The only bit that he does need to figure out is these bits like around the chimney breast, because obviously this is like an outside corner, not an inside corner, if that makes any sense. Yeah, he's still just figuring out that, but I think those 2 lengths along there, I think those 2 lengths of coving are already cut and like ready to go up. Yeah, it'll probably do that along the way, like cut so many lengths and then stick them up, and then cut the next few, stick them up. And yeah, then hopefully we'll be flying through it, and then once all of the coving is done, we'll then probably do the mouldings on the top and on the bottom, sort of add them around the coving. And then we've also got the extra mouldings that we're putting on the ceiling. So I don't know if I've explained this properly, but we're basically gonna do like a bit of a border just around the ceiling, basically just with a different type of moulding, so it just adds a little bit more detail to the ceiling basically. And then we do still need to sort out the ceiling rose. That's probably, well, the ceiling rose and the skirting board we still need to sort out. I think I know which skirting board I'm going to go for. I'm just going to bite the bullet, but we have bought so much this month already just to do this living room, and this was always a project that we thought was going to be like fairly inexpensive and easy, because the main thing that we needed doing in this room was the plastering. We'd already bought the floor, laid the floor, all of our furniture fits in here, so other than sort of the decoration, we don't really need to buy much. But then obviously we've got the blinds, we've bought all of this wood, we've bought the coving, so yeah, I'm just potentially going to have to wait to order the skirting board because we just can't do it all at once. Afternoon guys, I'm picking up the camera quickly and I'm just going to perch you on the windowsill. This is my favourite place to put the camera in this living room at the moment. But I thought I would just do a quick update because it has been quite a long time since I've done an update. We've had a lot going on the past sort of like, don't know, few days really. So I think the last clips that you'll have seen were some clips of us doing the coving. So Louis has pretty much done all of it now. I'll show you how far he's got. He's got one little bit left to do, which he's struggling with a little bit, which is around the fireplace because the angles are a little bit like all over the place. But yeah, it's been very much done in like dribs and drabs here and there. He's just been doing bits on a night after work while I'm doing the tea and things like that, so we've not sort of both tackled it that much. But yeah, it hasn't actually really taken him that long, it's just getting all of the angles right. We also have got our ceiling rose, so I'll show you that as well. It's next to me here, but it is still sort of like packaged up, but you'll be able to see what we've gone for. I decided to go for a little bit more of a plain ceiling rose rather than anything too detailed, just because I don't want this room to look sort of like too old-fashioned. We've gone quite, not old-fashioned, but like detailed on the coving. So yeah, I'll show you how the coving is looking. So these are the bits that we've done. You can't really see unless I get sort of close up, but we did right around here. The camera's not going to focus very well. We've done this wall along here, which was a nightmare. So this wall here and this wall here, this one is breeze block and this one is just a stud wall, so it's literally just like plasterboard. But this back wall is brick. So we started off with these two walls here, obviously putting glue on the coving and then just hammering in some nails like in the wall and in the ceiling just to secure it in place, sort of like while the glue dried and just for a bit of extra support. But when we got to this wall, basically because it's brick, the nails were just bending when they were hitting the brick, so we weren't able to sort of like secure it properly. So then we tried to just do it with glue, and the coving wasn't hanging off, but the glue wasn't really sticking as well as I wanted it to. So basically what we ended up doing was getting a nail gun, which we weren't sure whether that was going to work either, but it has. I think Louis managed to get some nails in those bits up there. It just needs quite a bit of filling just where all like the little nails have gone in, and the corners as well. So you can see here that the corners have got quite big gaps in them. So this corner over here was the first one that we did, and this had quite a big gap. I've managed to fill it quite well, I think. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So you can sort of see there where the filler is, but I just did a little bit of filler and I'm going to go back in with a little bit more filler just to sort of like perfect it. But I think once that's had a quick sand and I've painted over it white just to blend it all in, that corner looks absolutely fine. This bit here above the fireplace is the last bit that needs doing. So he's got like this bit on the side here and this bit on the side here, but I think this length was the one that he'd cut and it fits perfectly up to this side, but it doesn't match up properly on this side, and I think he's only got one more length, otherwise you have to buy a whole new pack. So you get 6 lengths in a pack and you can't buy the lengths individually. So I think a pack is about 50 quid, so it's nothing like crazy, but obviously we'd rather not buy a pack of 6 for the sake of like one length. But yeah, that's basically the last bit that he needs to do. So I'll try and show you this bit up here, but you might not be able to see very well because of the light coming through the window. So don't know whether you can see there the bit of wood that we've put. Let me go from underneath. So that's the bit of wood that we've attached. Obviously it's not been painted yet, so it's just looks a little bit weird, but the curtain pole basically will sit inside this little gap. So then when you're looking at it from a distance, that bit of wood will be painted. I think I'm going to paint underneath the coving green so it matches in just with the wall. But yeah, I'll probably have to show you that a little bit more once we've got the blinds up, because the light coming through the window just completely like messes with the camera and the lighting and stuff. But yeah, we've made some good progress. Obviously we've got all of these bits of mouldings to attach above and below the coving, so this will actually be a little bit bigger. So I've been trying to paint these before we actually attach them to the wall, because I feel like it'll just be a lot easier. So I've primed all of them here. I just need to do a coat of white paint. So I did these two last night, but me trying to paint in here and Louis trying to do the coving, there was stuff all over the floor. Oh, this is our ceiling rose over here. So I don't know how well you can see that. It's literally just sort of like got a little bit of detail on it, but no actual sort of like pattern or anything. So we need to get that up as well at some point. So yeah, we've still got lots of bits to get done in this room. It's currently Thursday, so hopefully we'll get some bits done over the weekend. I've got a lot of painting that I'm still gonna do. I've decided to paint quite a lot of like different areas of the house that I maybe wasn't planning on doing quite yet, but I am just gonna get everywhere painted as much as I can. So I do need to go around all of the coving and fill anything that needs filling, fill all of the gaps. So I might do that maybe tomorrow when I finish work, and then obviously give the fill a chance to dry. And then I'm gonna have to get some caulk as well, so I'm gonna have to caulk like the top and the bottom of the coving just for a nice like clean edge. I am also going to paint the downstairs toilet, so I'll give you a quick look at that. So I did do a mist coat in this downstairs toilet. So I can't remember what video it was, but we basically had the cistern and everything taken off the wall because we had this back wall plastered. So once the plaster dried, I did do literally just a mist coat to match the other walls. You can see how sort of like patchy everywhere is because it has just had one mist coat. I was gonna leave it like this, sorry about the focus, but I was gonna leave this room like this until it came to actually sort of decorating it, because I want to do like half paneling and wallpaper above. However, that's not really high priority at the moment, so I think what I'm actually going to do is just give this whole room another layer of just white. I think I'm just going to keep it simple and just do white, do the ceiling, do the walls, and then put the toilet back up. And that just means that this room is, it'll just be like decent, you know what I mean? It will just be white, but I don't really want to paint it another colour because eventually at some point soon I would like to do the paneling and the wallpaper. So if I just keep it white, then it's ready for decorating in the future. But I just think at the moment it just looks a little bit patchy, and it just seems pointless putting the cistern back on the wall and the radiator and not sort of finishing off this room a little bit. So I think that's probably going to be my number one priority this weekend, so that that toilet can go back up. On the living room. Once again, it's been a while since I've picked the camera up and updated you. So I'm not actually sure what the last update was, but we've made quite a lot of progress. So the extra bits of mouldings that we were adding are on, and well, it's pretty much done now, the coving. And I spent yesterday afternoon going around and just sort of like cutting in again and touching up any bits of the wall that were like marked and scratched and stuff. So this is how the coving looks now. It is very nice and like clean edges, nice and neat. Let me see if I can get a bit closer up to it. So I don't know if you can see there the bit that we've added at the top and a little bit extra at the bottom as well, just to make the coving a little bit bigger. And then I don't know how well you'll be able to see this bit, but this is the bit of wood here. So the curtain pole sits in this little gap. So when we've actually got curtains here, they'll just sort of hang, it'll look like they're just sort of hanging straight down from the ceiling sort of thing. So that just goes right across, and we've added a little bit of detail to that there. That's a little bit better. So then we put this little bit on the bottom, but yeah, I'll show you properly once the blinds are up. I haven't ordered the blinds yet, but yeah, I'm happy with how that all looks. We've got the ceiling rose, but we've had a nightmare trying to put that up. So the place that we got it from, the shop that we got it from, the man gave us some like, well, this was it, sort of like the adhesive stuff that he told us to use, but he just had a little bit left in this bag, so he just gave us enough for the job, for what we needed. But when they tried to do it the other night, you have to like mix the powder up with water and then put it on the back of the ceiling rose and stick it on the ceiling, and then also like screw it into the beams. So that's what all of these little holes are here. Was Louis doing lots of like little tests to see when he hit the beam. So I think he has found the beams, but the actual like plaster stuff that we were using to stick it up, by the time Louis had put it on the ceiling rose and then got the ceiling rose up to the ceiling, it dried and it wasn't sort of like sticking properly to the ceiling. So yeah, that didn't work. So we've got some other stuff to try and, well, to try. So we've got this here, which is like plasterboard adhesive. This is what our plasterer told us to try for the ceiling rose. Anything like sticky basically should work. And then obviously it'll be like doubly secure with the screws in the beams as well. Louis did actually pull the floorboards up in the bedroom upstairs to put in some extra bits of wood, just so that he's got more, he can put more screws in, I think. But yeah, that's still an ongoing issue. We've also had the skirting boards delivered. So this is what they look like. I don't know how well you can see, to be honest, because there's just loads of them piled on top of each other. So yeah, that's the skirting board. So hopefully Louis can start doing that maybe today or tomorrow, and then once the skirting board's on and the ceiling rose is up, I'll probably do a few more little touch-ups of the paint if it's needed, and then the skirting board will need painting as well. But yeah, we're not far off, nearly there now. Louis just out in the garden cutting the grass just to try and like keep on top of it. Yeah, in terms of this living room, that's where we're up to so far. So I think I might actually end this video here and do another one, because obviously we've still got the ceiling rose, the skirting board, and then we will move all of our furniture in hopefully soon. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one for more updates.